Welcome to the Arise podcast with Aisha. This is a faith-filled, soul-stirring space created to awaken you to who God has called you to be. Here we'll share stories, truths, revelations, and real-life journeys that remind you of one thing. You were never meant to stay hidden. You were created to rise. Whether you're healing, rebuilding, rediscovering, or just trying to breathe again, this is your safe place to grow, to stretch, and to boldly step into the life heaven has written for you. So take a deep breath, lean in, and open your hearts. Let's begin. Hello everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the Arise podcast with Aisha. Yay! If you're listening in, this is actually our first episode for the year 2026. So happy new year, happy new year, happy new year. And I'm really glad that you're here again in this new year. And I'm excited for all of the things that have already begun to unfold, even with this podcast, even as we are going on this journey together. I'm excited for the things to come, the things that will unfold in your life and even my life as well, right? This is episode 4, and I'm so thankful that we've made it this far, because it takes a lot for you to start something, and even takes much more for you to be consistent. So I'm glad that we are here at episode 4, and I can't wait until we get to episode 100. And just allow things to unfold. So thank you so much for standing with me and for coming here again. I know that there is something God is doing, and I think I'm beginning to get a hang of this podcast situation thing gradually, because at first I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think gradually, slowly but surely, we're getting the hang of it. We're getting there gradually. So yes, again, happy new year once more, and let us begin the first episode of 2026. Yay. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm so happy and joyful, and very much expectant as well. So if you've already seen, or as you've already seen from the caption, the title of this episode 4, is The Power of Vision, Seeing Before Becoming. Fun story. I had really planned to dive into a different topic based off of something like a continuation of episode 3, to really affirm that place of identity. But for some reason, this thing of the power of your vision and just setting your vision for the year has been burning in my heart since, I think, the first Saturday of the year, which is interesting because I'm a teen coach in church, and for the first Sunday of the year of 2026, that was, I think, the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd or the 4th of January. I had taken the teens on a topic. I know the topic was it had to do with like setting visions, rather, your vision for the year, and also goals and your core values, and just basically what vision is, just unpacking that. And since I took them on that course, it has poured me into kind of like a self-reflection journey as well, which I was just diving in. And what's more interesting, what actually deeply spoiled me into this self-reflection journey as well, to kind of like get some things straight. And I was like, really and truly, what's really my vision for this year? What's the vision what's God saying in this year, to unpack that and write it down so I can collaborate with him and partner with him to bet that which he's saying, and that's which he has given me, so it can be a clear picture in front of me that I'm running with, and I'm not just shadow boxing. What's that? During the class, because I do something, I like go around and just ask them questions for us to like begin. So questions kind of like that are related to the topic of title. Sometimes it's just catching up with them, right, of how their week has been and how they spent the holiday and all that. I think what we did was not, the questions I asked was not really related to the topic. It was more of how their holiday went and how the holiday went and how they're feeling about the new year. And I know about 1 or 2 of them said that there's no difference, like they don't feel different, they just feel the same. It felt like okay, it was December and now we are in first, okay, but nothing really changed in me. It's just like the same me, same old. Like everyone seems to make it seem as though something has really changed, like, oh, we're now in a new year. But it's just like, okay, we're in the new year. Yes, the calendar says 1st of January, but I don't feel different. I feel the same, right? And I think one of them said something that was a bit funny to me, and she was like, She just wishes that everybody can just wait for a minute, like there's no time movement. We're just living our life and we don't have to say we're in a new year or we've just entered a new year, or like there's no need for all of those extra things, which was quite interesting because I kind of like resonated with what they said about not feeling anything at the time. Because I remember telling a friend of mine that today is 31st, when it was 31st of December 2025. I was like, it doesn't even feel like this is the last day of the year. It feels like a very basic day, because I remember like probably growing up, you'll feel like, oh my god, we'll be anticipating, because we used to do like crossover service. We'll be anticipating, okay, we're gonna go church, we're crossing over and all. But now I had crossover service this last year, breaking into this year, but it still felt like just a very normal day. And then when we moved into 1st of January, honestly speaking, I was like, okay, the only thing that could tell me that I was in a new year was my calendar. Like, if my calendar was not telling me this is 1st of January, it didn't feel like 1st of January. I was like, oh, we're in a new year, we're in 2026, 1st of January. And even for like a couple of days, it just still felt it felt a bit floaty, as though I wasn't connecting or grasping the fact that I've moved into a new year, basically. And I don't know if part of that is also because like I had a really busy year end and just trying to get some things, and had a lot of back-to-back things I was really doing. So I didn't really have the moment or the opportunity to like really still my mind and just meditate and come to that place of probably conclusion of the year, and then we're entering this new year. I don't know if that kind of played into it, but if you were like me and you felt that way, you're not alone. You're not alone. But the thing is, as I was just gathering my thoughts and all, I've been thinking about it, that actually really and truly, when we think about things, I know this was even said a bit during the festive period of how Christmas feels like very bland or very basic now compared to when you were a child. And that some people were saying it's because when you were a child, people curated things and activities for you and traditions that made Christmas or the festivity a time for you to look up to. But now that you're an adult, you have to curate something for yourself that makes it something for you to look forward to. And if you're not doing that, it makes sense why it seems very basic, right? So if we bring that idea back now to this issue of where we are now, we're in a new year and all of those things, we begin to think deeper, and we begin to see that the year can just go by and it seems as though we've been repeating the same year over and over again, or it just feels very basic. We feel like, oh, at the end of the year, most times people come and say this year was really hard, it was really a hard year, very difficult year, and things like that. And I see that repeating itself like year in, year out if you go on social media, right? And so it now makes me to begin to wonder, right? We talk about the year being this, the year not being up to par and all that, but could it be that one of the reasons why the year feels like that is because we probably haven't really partnered with God to get a vision or get something that we're working towards, and we are seeing that it's unfolding and we're partnering? Could it be that one of the reasons why the year feels very basic is because we are winging it? We are just seeing how the year goes, right? Sometimes as we've stepped into this new year, one of the questions that would be important for us to ask is, and even maybe sit down to ask, is what are we seeing in our lives, right? From patterns, as I said, there's this pattern of people saying the year has been hard, you didn't meet up to expectations and things like that. And there's a saying that you cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So it means that if you expect a different result, you need to change strategies, right? You need to do something different for you to see a different result, right? And so we're just as we're analyzing this topic, I want us to really do it together and come to the place where we see a vision. So this year actually looks totally different from other years because we are doing something that we've not done together before, right? We are partnering with God to get this vision so that we can actually run. And the fact that I'm here saying this and trying to stress the importance and do this together, as I said, we're going to do this together, take it step by step. It's not because in all ways I've had my vision for the year and everything all figured out, because in many ways I'm still trying to unpack that too and really sit down and meditate to see, okay, what's the direction that we're going this year, what are we doing, what did we do yesterday and last year rather, what can we do better this year to strategize and just to make this year more rich and really harness all the goodness of this year. And if we are popular with the Christian community and some of the things that happen at the beginning of a new year starts, at the beginning of the new year, different churches come out with their focus for the year, their theme for the year. Some of them say, oh, advance, take charge. Others say it's my year of open doors, different things. And the reason for that is because those statements or those mantras help to guide the focus of which the church is going through, or that denomination is going to take through. It's going to guide their activities, it's going to guide their programs. And we can see how that also plays into them having a vision. But when we bring it down to like our individual lives and ourselves, like what's the vision that we have for ourselves? So on this episode, we'll be talking about the power of vision, right? And I want us to have this conversation and know that this conversation is not about the hustle mentality of putting pressure on ourselves or setting unrealistic resolutions, right? Every year at the beginning of January, we see it year in, year out, people coming up with New Year resolutions and different things that's probably, so for the most part, a lot of it by February, the New Year resolutions are a thing of the past. It's just part of the New Year euphoria, but that's not what we're focusing on. We want something more than that. We're not trying to hustle, we're not just trying to set unrealistic expectations, but what we're trying to do is to come together to have clarity for this new year and learn how to partner with God in order for Him to shape our lives in through Him and in the way that He has already imagined and formed and fashioned for our lives. So first and foremost, as we begin to dive deeper into the discussion, I know we heard the word vision a lot, right? But some of the things that vision is not is that vision is not just a goal or a list, right? Vision is not a mood board, as beautiful as it is, right? You can capture the vision and then display it out on a mood board for you to kind of like have visuals, because if you're someone like me, I thrive a lot with visuals, right? Visual representative of that, but it's beyond just a mood board or a vision board. Your vision is not a New Year resolution. It is beyond that. Vision is your ability to see your life through God's perspective before it manifests. Right? It's your ability to see your life through God's perspective before your life manifests, before that path manifests. And we know there's a scripture in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2 that talks about us writing the vision and making it plain. And the second verse says, so even though the vision, write vision, make it plain, and at the appointed time, though the vision may tarry for a while, at the appointed time it shall speak and not lie, right? So we see the importance of being able to capture that vision. It's very important. Also, if we are also analyzing that scripture, we could see that the scripture says write the vision and make it plain. So it means that you didn't just curate the vision, right? The vision is not just created. It's not just something you just wake up and say, oh wow, this would be a good idea. It just snaps out, right? It says write it. It meaning that the vision already existed. Your response is to receive it. Your response to the vision is to receive it, to clarify it, and to steward the vision until it is bettered forth. I repeat that. Our response to the vision is to receive it, to clarify it, to steward it until the vision is bettered forth. And some of the things that vision answers is that vision answers the question, because as we're navigating, okay, how do we come about this vision or encapsulate this vision? A vision can answer questions like, who am I becoming? What kind of life am I building? What values would guide my decisions? What legacy do I want to leave? What legacy do I want to leave behind? And our last episode 3, where we're talking about identity, who am I rather, returning to your God's given identity. One of the things that we said is to take inventory of our lives and begin to break limiting beliefs and disempower those limiting beliefs or things that has held us bound for so long. So one of the visions that we could have, which is very paramount in our life, is to go on the healing journey, allow the Holy Spirit and God to actually walk inside of us, right? And we know that without vision, life becomes reactive. As I was saying earlier, some of us for so many years we've been saying we'll just wing it, we'll see how it goes. But when we have a vision, when we don't have a vision rather, your life begins to look as though you're just winging it. It looks as though you're reacting to life as opposed to thriving. You respond to what is happening instead of moving with intentionality. And I don't know if this saying is popular to us that are listening, but it's popular to me and people around my circle, is that as good as good intentions are, they cannot sustain you. Because you might have good intentions for your life and your destiny. Say, oh, this year I want to travel more. I'm just giving examples. This year I want to take agency of my life. This year I want to go on this healing journey. This year I want to develop my relationship with God. I want to go deeper. I know that there is more, and I want to steward this more and harness this more so that I can become the more, right? You just having those great intentions, or it could even be saying, okay, I've seen these patterns in my life and I've seen some things that I do that I would like to stop, or I like to put an end to. You just coming to that conclusion and having those good intentions, as beautiful as it is, it's not enough to take you to where you are going. So we don't just need good intentions alone. We need to create a vision with the help of God to curate that, and we need to take active steps in order for us to be able to thrive and leave those good intentions as opposed to just there being wishful thinking, right? We need to actually work with intentionality so that we do not shadow box. And another scripture that also comes to mind is Proverbs 29 verse 18 that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And perish here does not mean literal death in terms of like you die a physical death, but it could lead to a life that is almost, it's full of misery, a purposeless life. It's basically the same thing as a life that is dead, because there is a void inside of you. You can feel it when your life is not amounting to anything. There's an emptiness that you feel when you're not living a life of purpose, right? And what helps us to live a life intentionally is vision, right? So those are some of the things. And we might be wondering also, like, why does vision matter? So why is it important for me to have a vision, even beyond all of the beautiful things that I said? Some of the other reasons why it's important for us to have a vision is that it gives us direction. I said that it kind of like makes you to no longer just be shadow boxing or be living life as though you're reacting, but you're living life intentionally. You're thriving. Because there's a difference between struggling and thriving. When you're living a life that you are reacting, it's like life is happening to you. So you can't really say that you're thriving, because life is giving you, like, it's like, okay, I want to move okay, I'm moving straight, but life told me to go to the left. I'm swerving left, right? There's no focus, because your attention, you can be easily swayed to every direction. So life is happening to you as opposed to you actually taking agency of your life and thriving. Another thing that makes vision very important, why vision is very important, is that it keeps you grounded when distractions multiply. Because let's take for example, I have been able to receive the vision, I've clarified the vision, I am stewarding that vision very jealously until it is fully birthed, right? Now, what has happened is that I will put, because what I'm doing, I'm in stewardship of the vision. You are putting things in place that is going to help you to actually bet that vision forward. And those things in place can be you developing yourself, could be so many things, because what you're doing, because for instance, you've gotten a vision that you're supposed to be a writer, or you've gotten this vision, you've even gotten the idea and everything. You've gotten qualification and all. Part of stewarding that vision is that, okay, you've never written a book before, right? To begin to look for authors. How do I write? What are some resources that I need? Who are people I can collaborate with to bet forth this vision? Now, take for instance, you just want to be a writer, you have the gift for writing, or you feel like, oh, I should write, right? What will happen is that you don't have clarity for that, right? You just felt writing is a beautiful thing, maybe because everybody around you is writing. You've not gotten clarity for that. You are not stewarding it because it's just a good intention of, oh, maybe it would be nice for me to write too. So there's no form of stewardship. There's no form of building yourself in that capacity. And so what happens is that by the end of the year, you've ended up not writing because other things that seem to be more important might have come to actually steal that from you. And I'm saying this not as somebody that is judgmental, because that actually happened to me last year, right? I was supposed to write a book. I had announced it on my Instagram and with a post and all of that I made, that I was writing a book when I did the intro of the book and all that. But because I didn't really steward that vision, I didn't really steward it. I got it. I didn't really sit on it to get further clarity and to steward that vision until it was bettered forth. 2025 came and ended and I didn't write the book. I only wrote few things. I didn't write the book because I could see how if I had really stewarded that and taken it as a vision, gotten clarity, stewarded it until it was bettered forth, I would be an author by now, right? So it's beyond good intentions. And sometimes, even as we're talking about vision, the reason why we're talking about vision as well, because it write the vision, make it plain, right? And without vision, it's not even also enough for you to just get, as beautiful as we said, okay, why do we need vision? It's to give us direction when life feels confusing, is to keep us grounded when distraction multiplies. But it's not even really enough for you to actually just receive the vision. You need to actually steward the vision and press on the vision until it is birthed. Because there are so many people that have written visions and the visions are just word of knowledge or word of wisdom in their journals, lying there dormant. And you're waiting, you're praying for the Lord to empower you to become. But heaven is waiting for you to say, when are you going to stand up and steward this vision to birth? So we will come to that. I know I'm not casting aspersions or throwing shade, but these are some of the things that we really need to really sit down and analyze and take in, and now come to a place where we're like, there's more inside of me. I have to do more. Like, it can't just be this pattern of okay, I'm waiting continuously. All right, moving back to the point. Another reason why vision is very important is that it helps you to say no to things that look good but aren't aligned. Oh my gosh, this point, it helps you say no to things that look good but are not aligned. Because the truth of the matter is that there's so many beautiful ideas, there's so many good things, but is it good for you? And even if it's good for you, is it good for you in this season? Because what can be good for you in one season can be very hazardous to you in the next. And what can seem very bad for you in one season can be the best thing for you in the next. So that's why vision is not just a collaboration or a collation of good intentions. It is beyond that. We are partnering with God to actually create. It's a partnership with God, right? It's your ability for you to see life through God's perspective, right? And vision is always in line with your purpose. The vision that you're creating and the vision you're partnering with God for you to see life through His perspective, it is always in line with your purpose and your destiny. So it's not just a random collation of good intent. That's not it. Because what can be a good intent to one person can be very hazardous to your life and destiny in a season or even generally, right? And so that's also one of the reasons why vision is important. Vision, because you can be like, no, that's not the direction. This is not the direction I'm going to. So you can easily spot the things that are distractions and be like, no. It helps you maintain maintain focus and or a focus. It helps you maintain focus. Maintain what? Vision. You know, your vision is sharp. My Nigerian people will say cha. Your vision is very clear. Very clear. And another thing to note, even as we're talking about these things, because sometimes it could be like, okay, so once I set my vision like this now, I put it here, just analyze it from here, you clean your lens, you're like, we're flying, come on. But vision does not eliminate challenges. In fact, a lot of times when you are walking in line with your purpose and vision, you hit a lot of challenges, you hit a lot of roadblocks. So vision does not actually eliminate challenges, but it gives meaning to the process. Vision gives meaning to the process. When you have vision, discipline feels purposeful, right? The reason why you are saying, okay, we're not doing this, you're cutting yourself short of some certain things. So you're waiting, you're saying, okay, not now, not now, not now. The process feels purposeful, discipline feels purposeful, delay feels temporal. When you have vision, delay feels temporal because you have something you are looking forward to. It gives you a picture. Vision gives you a picture. It gives you some. And if you're a creative, or you've gone into a creative space, or if you've ever gone visited an art gallery or looked at a nice artwork, whether it's a sculpting or this thing, you can actually, from looking at the painting or the creation of the artist, you can see something. Right, it creates something. It gives you it just gives you a gain into the mindset of the creator. So vision actually gives you clarity. It paints pictorial. It paints pictures for you. And also, when the vision is in place, growth feels intentional. It no longer feels as though you're shadow boxing. It doesn't feel as though life is happening to you and you're reacting to life. It seems with vision, it seems as though every step that you're taking is curated, right? Everything you're taking is intentional. And if you're someone that has worked in a space of doing things intentionality, there's this confidence that intentionality gives you when you're working, because it's like, no, like, we're going somewhere. We are going somewhere. Hey, we are going somewhere. Right? There's this confidence that intentionality gives you. And actually vision does that. Your growth feels intentional. When you can look back and by the second quarter at the first quarter, you're like, whoa, we've grown. It feels like, yes, I put in something. Like I've been working. I've been, it doesn't just feel as though life has been giving me slaps. And I've just been writing. Life gives me slap on my left cheek. I'm like, oh, it gives me power. I'm like, what can we do? What can we do? No, it feels intentional. JJ. In Nigeria, it's like JJ, just JJ. Soft. What JJ means is like small, like easy, basically. Right? So growth feels intentional. And something important is that you don't need full clarity to actually begin. You need alignment. Because sometimes with vision, I know at the beginning I said seek clarity, but what I mean by seek clarity is not that you want to see the end from even before you started. But clarity could be like, yes, that's confirmation that yes, this is what I'm supposed to do, and you begin to take steps of obedience, and you begin to take steps. Because a lot of times, even when we're starting things, you can't see the big picture from the very first day you started. There are a lot of great corporations and a lot of brilliant movements today that where they are now, the first day they opened their doors, if you had ever told them they will be where they are now, they would have told you it's a lie. It's impossible. And that's because a lot of times things unfold because in the process of you becoming, in the process of you starting rather, you become, and you are now fully equipped to be the manner of man or the manner of woman that can handle this other level of greatness. And so a lot of times you do not see the full picture or gain absolute clarity of how it will look like down the line from the beginning. You just get clarity enough to begin. So that's what I mean by you do not need full clarity for you to start. You just need to be aligned. You need to know that this is it. This is the vision for my life. This is the vision for this year, and run with it. Also, sometimes vision starts as a stirring, a restlessness, a knowing that this version of my life rather, it's not the full picture. Right? Or it could even start as a pain point where you just find that every time that this happens, or this disservice or this happens, I'm so pained. It could also be sometimes vision start like that. It is pointing you to the direction that there is something that you need to do in that space. The discomfort you feel in this moment is not you fading. It's that you might actually be called to intervene. It can possibly be an invitation for you to do something, and that's why we need to vision. as I said earlier, it's in line with your purpose. And so there's that place of you gaining clarity, right? You receive it because it's in line with your purpose. And sometimes in receiving, it could be, it's not every time that we receive things from God that is like very clear cut out of, oh, my daughter, my son, you know, you need to go to the parenting space, you have exploits to do in the medical field or in the media, or no. Sometimes it starts as a burden. But a part of stewarding those things as well is our ability to take it to God, to press deeper, to say, I have this burden, or I have this restlessness concerning this. What does this mean? Right? So those are part of some of the ways that we can begin to gain clarity. Also, to also buttress vision, because it's one thing for us to have beautiful visions. Oh my, this is this, we've laid it out. Oh, we've received it, downloaded it. But part of actually stewarding those visions is you having goals and values to support your vision. Remember, vision is the destination, right? So when you have a destination that you are going to, you need goals. Goals are the step-by-step things that you want to do in order to achieve or in order to arrive at your destination. So goals are the mile maker. It is the goals that, help you every step of the way. It's in your goals or the things you're putting in place that are your goals. Or because, for instance, you say, okay, I have a vision of improving my speaking. I know that one of the visions that God has given me, I've been called to speaking space. I've been called, or even I myself, I've this podcast, right? So how can I improve my speaking? Because I know it can be 10 times better than it is right now. So the vision is what? To improve the speaking so that this podcast can, we need this podcast. This podcast is the vision, and being part of enhancing this vision of the podcast is also to enhance our speaking, our public speaking. That's the vision. What are the goals that we need to put in place in order for us to take the miles to get to the destination of having a better public speaking? So some of the goals we're making to do, okay, get a speech therapist, listen to this, speak more in public places, read widely, do this and do this. So you see, those are goals, and it's not just with goals, they have to be smart goals. So you can be like, okay, take 30 minutes every day from you to actually do, for you to actually read. See a speech therapist once a week. All of those goals that are measurable and time bound also help you to get to the place of your vision, right? And so values are like the compass, right? Because values are what keeps you in check. They are the things that you cannot compromise on no matter what. If you set goals without values, you will achieve things that still leave you empty. So because you can set goals and not have values, and at the end of the day, you might have compromised in so many fronts. So values are what keep you in check, so that there is no compromise. So remember, as we said, so we have vision. So vision is the destination. Goals are the things that you do in order to get to the destination. Values are what keeps you together. It's like your moral compass that guides you so that you follow this set of rules in order for you to get to your vision, but your core values or what you stand by has not been compromised. So vision is the destination. Goals are what we put in place to get to the destination. Values are the compass that guides our route to the destination. One of the questions I would like us to even ask ourselves, even as we are thinking about this more and more, is what values do I want to live by this year? What values? Because we've talked about vision. So we said vision, you receive the vision, you clarify the vision, you steward the vision until the vision is born, right? For goals, you set smart goals that helps you to get to that destination. And then for values, those are your moral compass. But for some of us that are just coming by to this phenomenon of values, of vision rather, of goals and values, you might want to say, what are really my values? What do I want to be? Not just what do I want to achieve, right? What are my values? And how you can actually use to take an inventory of what your values are. You could see, what are the things that are important for me? What are some things that I stand by that I will not compromise? So an example, it could be like, I value family. Family is very important to me. So in this place, we value relationship and family. Your another value could be we value giving, right? We believe that we did not just come to this earth to just be alone and live alone and just us. We believe in giving. Another value could be we value our health in this family. I value my health. So I eat well, I eat clean, I do not do things or pick up habits that compromise my health. So those are some of the things. Or another value could be integrity. I will not compromise my integrity just because of that opportunity. If it causes me to lie, if it causes me to forge documents, if it causes me to do things that are compromising or puts me in a compromising situation, I will not do that because I have a value of integrity. So you have seen how having a value of integrity has held you back from the routes that you would have taken. Because let's say you would have gone to A, but there are two routes. One that might seem longer because you have to not cut corners, but one that, we have a plug. Just do this, just sign this document, just do it like this before you know you've gotten the opportunity. But you see, because you have a value of integrity, it causes you to not take the faster route. So that integrity has put you in check. So you see how it's now a compass. It is a compass that guides how you navigate. Because if you didn't have a value of integrity, the compass, you would have just been free to take the shorter route. But you see how that value of integrity has given you a compass on you, how you navigate to your destination. So I hope that's helped to make this clear. Also, if your vision is peace, like I'm just going to give an example, right? Even just to buttress the points better, of vision and value. So if, for instance, you have a vision of peace, right? God has given you, probably you're someone that is very anxious and God is helping you to say part of your destiny is that you need to come to a place of peace, because peace is what is going. When you're in that state of peace, it gives you clarity for you to be able to function. So this year, I want you to actually embody peace. So you see, you have a vision of embodiment of peace because you've come from a place of anxiety. So you set goals in place. And so what that means is that if your vision is a vision of peace, your value might look like you having your value might be boundaries of you knowing how to say no, right? If your vision is a vision of growth, your value might look like consistency, because you have to be consistent in order for you to grow. If your vision is that of impact, you know that you are a global impact, you are called to do this, to do that, to help people in this space or that space, you know that one of your value, you have to value service, because you cannot make impact without serving. So I hope this has been able to help us on how to be able to navigate or coin out our values based off our visions, or even taking an inventory of, okay, for my life for the past how many years, what if I sit down now, what can I say are things that are non-negotiable, things that I live by, things that have been my modus operandum, that I hold dearly, that I'm not compromising, that it would take a lot of convincing or a new knowledge for me to say no, or for me to change my mind concerning these things. So you can start from them to begin to write this down. And you can also ask your question, even as we are taking inventory and doing this gradually, is that this year we don't just need to ask ourselves only what do I want to do, but we need to ask ourselves, who am I becoming? Because it's not enough for you to do anything, just do. As we said, it's the year where we no longer want to shadow box, or we want a life to happen to us. But in everything that we do, all the times that we've been allowing life to happen to us, it has, like, the thing is, whether we actually take inventory of it consciously or not, the steps that we're taking every day, whether life is happening to us or we're happening to life, it's making us become something. Now, the question is, do you want to become something that is in line with your purpose and something that you're proud of? Or do you just want to be taking random steps because of where life is throwing you at, and at the end of the day, you don't even know who you are? So also part of actually you stewardship, because as human beings, we are also supposed to steward what God has given to our lives and our destiny. You are the first prophet, you're the first steward over your life and your destiny, to steward that which God has given you. So how are you going to do that? We're going to continue shadow boxing, and we're going to say, okay, from this year, we're going to rise. We're going to put things in place so that we can see the change. I just want us to do a practice exercise. You can repeat this over and over again, but I would like us to do a practice exercise. And what I want us to do is to pause for a moment. right? Just pause for a moment as you're doing this, as you're listening to me. You can just pause and pause the podcast at this point, and just or you can pause after you listen to the full length of it, right? So that you know what the steps to take after this. But I would like us to pause for a minute, and the pause is not just to just pause, but it's kind of like to deeply reflect. And I want us, as we are reflecting, to write down 3 things. Number 1 thing I want us to write down is, what is one area of your life where you desire clarity? So you can ask yourself, what is one area of my life where I desire clarity? Number 2 is, what is one value I want to anchor my decisions on this year? We talked about core values. Is it integrity? Is it setting boundaries? Is it service? What is one value that I want to anchor my decisions on this year? And number 3, what is one word that describes how I want this year to feel? Is it peace? Is it fulfilling? Is it holistic? Is it better? Is it thriving? One word that captures how you want this year to feel. Because I feel like as human beings, a lot of times we go around with so much burdens. And sometimes the burdens that we go around with is because we've not had the time to pause and reflect. So we carry burdens from years. And we were never created to carry burdens. That's why the Bible says that we should drop it at his feet and take up his yoke, because his yoke is light. And one of the ways and some of these burdens are also because they have not been processed. And one of the ways we can begin to unpack some of these things and even begin to get a clear sense of it. Because sometimes why life feels so unclear and so foggy is because we've not taken time to offload, to reflect, to really touch essence, the essence that is inside of us. And so it just feels as though we're just coming by. Everything is just happening so quickly. Back to back to back. No time to really reflect. No time to process the things. And so it seems like a heavy load, right? And I want us to know that even as we are doing this process, there is no pressure to perfection. Even as if this is something you are doing for the first time, even if it's not something you're doing for the first time, there might be pressure. I say pressure, sorry. There might be mistakes, right? You might feel maybe inconsistent, but or maybe you planned out a timetable, and so there might be days where it seems as though it's so difficult for you to actually for you to actually fulfill it. But the thing is not perfection. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for progress. And with progress, I know there's a level of progress that comes with consistency, yes. But sometimes even in consistency looks like you missing one day but keeping up. For you not being discouraged, to continue to go, because we are stewarding this vision and pressing so that we may bring to birth. And so by the time we go on 31st of December 2026, we're looking back at the year with gladness, with fulfillment. We're looking back at the year not because it's been perfect in quotes, but because we've made progress that we can see, progress that we can keep a track record of, progress that even we ourselves can be proud of. And even as we are doing this exercise that I just said, I want you to also invite God in. Pray, listen, reflect. You know, at the beginning we talked about with vision, you receive it, you clarify it, you steward it until you birth it. But how can you receive it and clarify it if you have not stayed in a place of silence, right? So in order to receive, you need to be in the mind frame to receive. You need to be in a place or in a heart or in a mental space or even a spiritual state where your posture is waiting to receive. Because God is always speaking, but many a times our minds have been too busy, right? I spoke earlier. One of the reasons why the year felt as though 31st and 1st there was no difference was because I had a very busy year end. And I believe that part of it is because part of the reasons why it felt like there was no difference was because I didn't have time to come to that place of stillness where I was in the posture of I receive, where I've calmed all the noise and all the activities. Right. So even as we do all this exercise and we just reflect, I want us to reflect, be very intentional, pause. You might be busy, you might have kids and all. You just look for a time right? You must not do it as you're listening to this. Look for a time, maybe in the night, early in the morning, a time where you can just have a few moments, even if it's 30 minutes, or even as you're doing your work. Let your heart be in a posture of openness to receive, to listen to what God has to say, because He has a lot to say. There's so much He wants to unpack and to reflect. And just as we begin to round up, I would just like to encourage us that as you begin this year, just remember this: you don't need to have it all figured out again. You just need to take the next steps. Just take steps. You know, there's a saying that Rome was not built in a day, but every day that a block was added to the building of Rome was what formed Rome. Rome was not built in a day, yes, but there were different days that added up to the building of Rome. And so for this life and this destiny that you want, for this vision that you're partnering, that you are stewarding to birth, it takes daily steps, intentional steps, not perfection. There are some things that you might miss a step. There might be some things that you forget to add a stone to the building, but continue to add. And I believe that by the time we look back on 31st of January 2026, no, 31st of December, 2026, we're going to be like, wow, this year is not like there's a difference. We'll see the difference. And I implore you to start. It might be scary. It might be, what the heck is this? Even as you get the vision, part of stewarding it is doing it scared, right? We said, do it, start imperfect. You will become perfect on the job. You will learn. Start quietly, for sure. But start intentionally, be very intentional. And I just want to give a quick disclaimer. I know I said start imperfectly, but that is not to say that there are not some things that when God calls us as visionaries, as people that He has equipped into different space, that we are not supposed to start perfectly, right? They're not supposed to say that every vision that God gives us, we should just start anyhow. No, there's still a level of excellence and audacity and perfection and beauty that has to come into even the work that we do, right? As children of God, as kingdom citizens, there's still that needs to come in. But what I'm saying when I say starting perfectly is that there are sometimes that you know that we as humans, we tend to be like, oh, I will do it when I'm this, or when I have this, I will do it, and you never do it. So I'm talking about instances like that. And even for the instances where you also need to start with such splendor, the thing is that the splendor you think you started with, by the time you continue on it, you will see that was not splendor. You would have grown to another level of splendor, right? To be able to do this perfectly, to be able to be excellent. But if you never started from that level of splendor, you wouldn't get to the higher one. So there's that place of starting with audacity. We need to start intentionally, to be very intentional, very intentional. And to know that even as you begin, that heaven will back you up. Even though it might not seem like that, but you're not doing it alone. You're not doing it alone. In stewarding the vision and working, as I said, there will be challenges. But the thing is that even with the challenges, it is part of the process of you becoming. It is part of you, the process of your destiny. Because as I said, visions are not a random wish list or a random good intention that have been collected together. It is something that is in line with our purpose. It is in line with our destiny. We receive it from the Lord. We clarify it with Him. We steward it until we put it to bed. 4 steps: receive it, clarify it, steward it doggedly, and bring it to bed until it is put to bed. So I hope that with this we've just been able to actually sit down to really reflect. I know it might take time. Listen to this podcast over and over again as much as you can to gain clarity, add your own. This podcast is actually not to put a stop to your reasoning or to your contemplations or to you allowing God to really work in you, for you to unpack all the things and really process. It is a stepping stone for us to. I just thought it was very important because, as I said earlier, I've had a different direction in which I wanted us to go. But since after teaching the teen church first Sunday of this year, it has been burning in my heart to really share the power of vision. Remember, vision is the destination. Goals are the steps that we take to get to the destination, and your values are the compass that helps route you through the right route to your destination. And I cannot wait to share countless testimonies with you from my own experience in this year and yours. I know that this year is going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing year for so many parts of this year. I can't even fathom. I don't know how amazing the year is going to be yet, but I know it's going to be amazing. And the last episode of the year 2026, I cannot wait to share countless testimonies with you. And even before the last episode, as the testimonies are coming, unfolding small, I'll just be, you guys are my premium people, top tier, VVIP. That's how we roll. That's what we do. I'll just be chipping in, saying, just chipping in one episode. I'll do maybe that's I need to spoil you to really allow you to stay till the last part. So just be staying till don't be finishing the audio or the podcast. Don't be off cutting the audio at the middle. Listen to the end, because as the things are unfolding, the sweetness of the year unfolding, I'll be giving you the intros and the gist and the beauty of it at the end. I'll just sneak it at the end. So that thing that we're saying, this and this happened, right? So you need to stick with me, because I'm gonna have plenty things to share as a reason of this podcast. Because as I'm pouring you up to arise, me too, heaven is dragging me by my edges that I gotta arise. In fact, right now, just by this laptop of where I'm recording, I have a write-up that says, it's like every time I read it, it's like he's shouting on me. Arise, Aisha, for Christ has given you life. Arise. It's like he's shouting, arise. Like you're dragging your ear, arise. Drag me by my edges for me to arise. So I want us to partner together to do this together. And I cannot wait to hear your story and see the countless and beautiful thing that God is doing in our lives. So thank you so much. This is the longest episode so far. It is really long. This is almost an hour. Whoa, we had a lot to talk about. So thank you so much if you're able to stay till the end. I know that this blessed you richly. And let's continue to stick in. Let's unpack. Let us plan so that this year is not going to be shadow boxing. It's going to be intentional. It's going to be intentionality. We will not be reacting to life, but we will be thriving in the name of Jesus. Thank you so much for listening, and see you on the next episode. Bye. Thank you for joining me on the Rise Podcast with Aisha. If this episode stirred something in you, do not ignore it. Nurture it, move with it. And always remember, do it scared, do it shaking. Heaven backs the ones who move, and destiny responds to the ones who arise. Don't forget to like, follow, share. Please share with a friend. And I'll see you again on the next episode. Bye for now.